Hey guys, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, and today I'm talking about 5G conspiracy theories, and you know I've talked about them before, but they're still spreading, accelerating, and at this point, can we actually stop them? Now here's what's going on, and this is coming from Cyberscoop. Now before I go to that article, just a quick recap. I want to say about a month and a half ago at this point, I did a video on 5G conspiracy theories, tracing the origin all the way back to Facebook, basically a Facebook group putting out false information out of the United Kingdom. And then we saw a rash of 5G cell tower burnings, about 70 or so, in the United Kingdom, around Britain, and also in Western Europe as this is continuing to spread. And I went through that entire video and I debunked it in terms of radiation and frequency and what these things are doing, but this continues to persist and expand like all viral things, and like many people that believe they have their fears confirmed tend to dig in and not look at the other side. And so now this is coming to the United States, and here's what's going on. Now, according to a recent Department of Homeland Security, Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA memo, we've had a couple of incidents now that are starting to get officials pretty concerned given everything else that is going on. So, for example, in Tennessee, attackers have physically disabled electrical breakers at more than a dozen 5G cell tower sites. In a separate incident in April, according to this memo, white supremacists used the encrypted messaging platform Telegram to encourage people to outfit drones with explosives and then fly them into 5G towers. Now, the CISA released an advisory on the eve of the global protest that anti-5G activists planned for this past Saturday. Now, the conspiracy theories that are fueled in part by celebrities like Woody Harrelson, and I actually talk about Woody Harrelson and what he had posted in my previous video from a while back, their risk basically hindering some of the deployments of 5G equipment in the U.S., and this is according to Federal Communications General Counsel, who warned the Washington Post of this in an editorial that he wrote. So this is a very serious issue, and as we are slowly trying to move out and spin up 5G, especially while the world is doing it, that's a very serious issue. Now, recently, not just 5G related, but recently social media platforms, at least some of them anyway, have started to fight back against demonstrably false information. The most famous case being recently where President Trump actually tweeted about mail-in ballots, and Twitter decided to fact-check him on that, which obviously sent an entire storm, a tweet storm from President Trump, as well as an executive order and other things like that. Facebook hasn't done much about anything on this, but now in the last couple of days, they've decided to start alerting users if they are reading a website or reading a post by a government-owned media. So, for example, a news agency that is owned by, let's say, the Russian government or Iranian government or Chinese government, users are now starting to see these alerts to say, hey, you're reading something that is owned by the Chinese government. But the question I have is this too little too late? At this point, we are so dug in, or at least it seems to be, that we have one side or the other, that when you look at demonstrably provable facts that disagree with your position, are many people in a position to say, you know what, I was wrong and I need to switch. And that's something I think that we really need to talk about here, because that's a real big issue. Now, as you know, a few months ago or so, I interviewed one of the leaders of the Flat Earth movement, a guy named Mark Sargent. You might have seen him on a Netflix documentary called Behind the Curve, and he was a super nice guy, and he believes in Flat Earth, which I think is one of those things that, okay, I disagree with him. I think it's a bit of an innocuous thing. He's not really harming anybody, but here you have a whole group of people that, given overwhelming evidence to say the Earth isn't flat, are digging in saying, we're all the ones that are insane, or we're all the ones that are crazy, or we're all the ones that simply have the facts wrong. And so how do you undo something like this? How do you look at people that generally have a fear of where society is going, and now seeing that, the 5G, is going to spread coronavirus, or it's going to allow greater government control, or once we all have our Bill Gates brain chips inserted, the 5G is going to track us in real time and alert us to all of these things. How do you start combating that? How do you walk people off of that proverbial ledge, if you will, when they believe they're on solid ground and the rest of us are on the ledge? I'd be curious to know what you think about this. And if you believe that 5G is a serious issue, please let me know, because I'm more than happy to find that old video from like a month or two ago and post it here, because I do my homework on these things. I do a lot of research when I'm posting these, especially when I'm talking about the facts on the ground as it relates to a specific technology, something I tend to know quite a bit about just in my general life as well, because I'm a nerd. But I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, but this is your news/question of the day. And like I said, here we are. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe and stay online. Thanks, guys.